I mean, I know this is a football podcast. We're gonna talk about plenty of football. Joe Brady getting hired in Buffalo. And some other stuff. Most disappointing teams in college football this year. So on and so forth. We're gonna get there. However, big sports story. Okay. Tony Clark used to be the president of the Major League Baseball Players Association, who's probably headed for a work stoppage after this year anyway. So if you like baseball, you better enjoy this year because they ain't playing it next year. Kelly, you wouldn't mind that. I don't know the particulars of this man's story, but I know he resigned. There's a lot of reasons why he resigned. And the rumors that is swirling is that he had to get up out of there because he allegedly had an affair with his sister-in-law. Now, that's some Lifetime movie terrible stuff right there.
That's some Tubi movie stuff. That's not
Well,
like Tubi.
My question is, I've been thinking about this all day. I gotta know. What was it, the brother's wife? Or the wife's sister? And which is worse? I got strong feelings about this personally.
Bro, so all right, I'm gonna have two takes on this. And I'm gonna just be real, like coming from a man's point of view, a masculine man's point of view. The brother's wife, both of them were fine. The brother's wife is just like bro, you're low down. Like you're a low down human being. The brother's wife. The wife's sister is definitely terrible at the same. I'm trying to choose my words wisely.
It's okay, man. Whatever you can't say, I'll say.
If he went that route, the wife's sister route, I can see in some type of fantasy world, I don't know what the man is into, but if he's into those type of fantasies, I can see like that more than the other one. Both of them are foul, like I said. The brother's wife is just foul. That's your blood. That's like come on. The wife's sister, like now you start to think like, man, when did this happen? When did this start? Like were you inviting her over just so y'all can talk more? And then the brother's wife is the same situation, but it's like I feel like, and like I said, neither one of us know, the particulars of this situation. The wife's sister is easier because it's easier to pull off, I should say, and not like get caught, even though he got caught. But the wife's sister is easier to pull off because, like I said, the brother's flesh and blood. But either way, man, it's just it's terrible. It's terrible, bro. This is Tubi movie.
It's some Tubi movie stuff. It'd be a great Tubi movie. So if you're a screenwriter out there and you're looking for an idea, Tony Clark, go ahead and Google it.
Honestly, I watch a lot of Tubi. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. It's actually coming. The funny thing about Tubi is they are slowly improving their category of very good films, especially historical films.
Good shows too.
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie. I never watched the second in Tubi maybe before a year ago. I was like, I'm not watching that trash. But one day I was like, it's free. And I'm doing this thing where I'm churning these streaming subscriptions because I'm not watching all of them at the same time. But anyway, Tubi, low key. Hey, go ahead. Somebody write this joint. Pick it up. I have very strong feelings about this. Smashing your brother's wife is 1,000 times worse than smashing your wife's sister. Period. Point blank. Now, are you a terrible human being for both of them? Yes. Okay. So let me be clear. However, I can understand. I've lived a lot of life. I've made a ton of mistakes. I try to be a man of the collar now. Would never do this now, of course. But, prior to finding my good Lord, some things happened. I can totally see how you slowly fall into it with your wife's sister. I don't condone this. I gotta keep
saying that we're not condoning it, but
I gotta keep saying.
So we're saying we can see how.
I can see how that happens. I don't know how it happens.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure I would ever have the confidence in life to shoot that shot.
Yeah.
Like that's some audacity. Like even just shooting the shot it's like you shooting that and missing it has the potential to ruin your marriage, ruin your whole life.
The wife's
Like,
sister, maybe shot the shit.
like, oh, see, I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to do it.
Like I said, we don't know the particulars, but if that happened, you have a weak man. I can see how it happened.
I didn't want to go there, but that's a possibility. I'll put it to you this way, man. If I got a homie, right, and he ends up, falling off into it with his wife's sister, I'm gonna tell him about himself.
Yeah.
That's somebody I can be there for as he rebuilds his entire existence from that being exposed. Because something like that will get exposed. I don't care who you are.
It's gonna happen.
Brother's wife, we're not friends anymore. I can't trust you.
Whoa.
Like, and I'm sorry, and that y'all might think that
standard. I don't care. Like,
I don't care in this case. I don't care.
Yeah,
you could think it's whatever, right? You can no longer be trusted. You are a terrible human being. There's nothing stopping you from stabbing me in the back in my sleep, and that's it. We're good, and that's just how it is. I don't know if women would say the same thing, in that situation.
I'm really curious from the woman's point of view.
That actually would be. Now I'm curious too, because like for both of us, that's clear.
Yeah.
I can't be your friend no more.
No, it's done. It's done. Because I can put myself in that man's shoes, but I want to know if they think the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they might. Never mind. I was about to make a joke. Can't do that. I feel like you know what I'm about to say. Speaking of putting yourself in other people's shoes and understanding how they came to decisions and conclusions, I can't figure out for the life of me what the Buffalo Bills are thinking with the shakeups that they made in their front office and their coaching staff. We talked about this at length when it happened. They fired Sean McDermott. It was just like this hyper emotional, like just the hydrogen bomb level of emotion after that Denver game.
And it was, I think the craziest part of it is the owner literally said, because we lost that game, we had to make a change. Like, because of that game. So if you're basing it off of that, then you're cutting the quarterback. Yeah, 5 turnovers. So you can't be emotional to have, I mean, is it safe to say what, 5 coach, maybe? No, he's around 5. Yeah, like if you're thinking of, like, if you're just thinking about all 32, like, who are you putting in front of them? I mean, you're gonna put Andy Reid, of course. You can say Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. You can put all these guys in the midst, like in the same, in the same tier. But you can convince me that McDermott is better than a lot of coaches.
For sure.
So after all of that, all of the success he had, he's not directly responsible for Josh Allen. But if you're the head coach, like, you're tied to the quarterback.
You're doing something right.
You're doing something right. He was a defensive guy. They never spent money like they should on the defense. They never did. And I'm glad they did it. But, like, I think that's the biggest mistake. And like I said, that's on the front office. You put more money on the defensive side, your guy 17 was going to ball. You got James Cook in the backfield. He was going to ball. So, like, I don't remember the last time they had a good run defense. They always have a solid secondary, but the run defense has always been poor, or shaky at best. But yeah, man, like, I don't understand from the owner's point of view. I guess it was just like, hey, we got to shake something up. But the head man, like, shake the offensive coordinator up, shake the defense coordinator. I don't know, something, but the head man got you there. He had the Bills relevant. They were Super Bowl contenders for the last 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about in the AFC, you talked about the 3. With Cincinnati, you was just like, the defense ain't going to be good. The offensive line ain't somebody's going to get hurt. We just knew, like, Cincinnati was like the third and third man out, essentially, because of one of those reasons. But those other three, you thought they always had a chance. And McDermott got, the Buffalo Bills to that position. So to hire somebody within, it doesn't make sense because they were in the building while you were quote unquote failing or not reaching your. So now you bring in a guy, don't even bring it in, you promote a guy who's never been the CEO of, an organization. Because now I don't know if he's going to call plays. He hired an OC, but I don't know if he's going to call plays. If he isn't, can you trust that he can be the CEO of all those men? We haven't seen it yet. But, if we're really going by just last year, the entire team regressed. That's including 17. That's including the entire offense, aside from James Cook. So Josh Allen took a huge step back from his MVP season that wasn't earned. So, I'm gonna keep talking about that.
I love it.
But yeah, man. So now if you let go of McDermott and you bring in like the building, I understand that a little bit more. But to promote the guy within, after you fire the guy, they got to the second round, few plays away from, conference championship to the Super Bowl. They go to the conference championship.
They would have got to the Super
They
Bowl.
would have got to the Super Bowl. And now we have a great Super Bowl.
Yeah, because that was a clunker.
You have a great Super Bowl. I don't know who I'm picking because if they would have gotten there, 17 would have been the guy who was playing
100%.
superhero. And now you just like, all right, Seattle, I know you got a great defense, but you haven't faced, 17 doing all what he does. But yeah, man, it just didn't make sense to me.
There are some times when it is in sports, when it is your year and everyone knows it's your year. And more often than not, when you don't win it that year, you're hard pressed to get back. A couple teams come to my mind. In baseball, tied it back to the intro, in 2023, it was the Phillies' year. If you're a baseball person, they made it to the NLCS, which was the last round before the World Series. I think they had a 2-0 lead against the Arizona Diamondbacks, a team who won 80-something games, which is darn near mediocre. And then they crapped the bed in game 6 and 7 at home. And they fell off last year and the last couple of years and probably won't be back. This was Buffalo's year.
Yep.
And
it lined up perfectly. And we talked about it. We were salty about it because it just lined up perfectly.
It was perfect. It was perfect. And so what I think this has a chance, so much to unpack here. Number one, like people talk about Sean McDermott isn't that good of a coach or, all this other stuff. I think that's just false. I think it's just false, right? I think 90, 98 and 50 as a head coach in the regular season, 66% winning percentage, 8-8 in the postseason. I know there are a lot of sort of close heartbreaks, losses here or there. He can't get over the hump, whatever. They've appeared in 2 AFC title games. A 500 postseason record is really hard, guys. I don't know if you need to hear this, but you get to the playoffs and you're playing the best teams in football. And if you lose a game, you don't play another one. So to have compiled a 500 winning percentage in the postseason is pretty freaking good.
And here's the thing, let's say, all right, 2025, you get there. Okay, you lose. You're 0-1. 2026, you win 2 games. Now you're 2-1. The next year, you go 1-1. You're at 500. So it's really hard. Like somebody who's sitting at let's just say 5-5 in a postseason, that means you probably one and done, probably had 2 wins. You're like, it's 500 is good.
500 is good in the postseason. And so I think this is the biggest difference between Sean McDermott in Buffalo and Harbaugh getting up out of here in Baltimore. And people are always like, well, why do you all sort of, talk about them in the same vein? These two franchises are tied at the hip as long as 17 and 8 play quarterback. So that just is what it is. And they just so happened to change coaches at the same time, this offseason. Sean McDermott was 1000% unequivocally, objectively. I won't have this conversation with anybody, getting the most out of that roster year in and year out in a way that no one, absolutely no one on God's green earth can say that Harbaugh was getting the most out of that roster in Baltimore. You cannot say that. Those are not subjective things. Those aren't opinions, and we can't talk about that because that's just fact. And so you moved on from the guy who was unequivocally making your team better, maximizing the roster, and putting them in position to be competitive every year. I'm sorry, man. It's not Sean McDermott's fault that Josh Allen decided to do a ballerina twirl and fumble the ball and give Denver an extra 3 points before the third quarter. Like, it's just not. If anything, and this is the bigger thing that nobody wants to talk about, I think not nobody, insider folks and some folks in Buffalo are talking about this. McDermott is very much so, I'm not saying he's Bill Walsh, but he's very much so Bill Walsh approach, meaning he's building relationships with guys. He likes you. He wants you all to be a brotherhood. But he's not like cracking jokes with you. He's not, going to have a beer with you. He is a leader of men who instills sort of structures and discipline. And he is in charge, right? That's the kind of guy that Sean McDermott is. Now, there have been grumblings around, Josh Allen didn't really like that. He's a little bit more of a bro. He's a little bit more of a dude, so on and so forth. Let me tell you something, man. This has the potential to really combust in their face. Because if you think all those aspects are overrated, it ain't a whole lot separating 12-5 from 6-11 in this league, man. Even if you got an MVP at quarterback. Look at Joe Burrow. So if you took out a guy who might not have the greatest relationship with your MVP quarterback, but is getting the most out of that roster with personnel, with accountability, with discipline, with so on and so forth, and you're bringing in now a guy who's much younger, who has a little bit more of a rapport, I guess, with Josh Allen and Joe Brady. If you're going to let him, and I have a feeling that they're like, all right, well, we got this great guy who's a super talent. Maybe we should just let him be him a little bit more. You got to be careful what you ask for, right? 28 touchdowns and 24 interceptions is not that far off. He had 5 turnovers in the freaking playoff game. Like, I would actually argue McDermott, look, Josh Allen is a supreme talent, okay? We've said that over and over again. I'm not going to repeat that. But it's not far-fetched to say McDermott was a container that maybe prevented some of his brilliance from shining brighter sometimes. Sure. But when you put that brilliance in the container, you're also kind of limiting, or you're decreasing 8 to 9 to 10 turnovers a year too. You got a psychopath at quarterback. And when you got a psychopath at quarterback, you need a grown adult man and head coach. They don't have that anymore.
They don't.
And this might blow up in their face, man.
I mean, I would love to see it, honestly. But I mean, that was my initial thought, like, because once you heard the rumblings of, Josh Allen and Dermott may not have had the best relationship, like, it really wasn't that part. Like you said, it was the Josh Allen wants more of the bro approach.
Yeah.
No.
I'm a head coach.
It's fine if you have a McDermott a head coach. Like we use like you said, we compare these two all the time. Lamar and Harbaugh. Lamar is just like football. I just want to win. Like, I'm telling these guys what it is. I'm intense. That's how he is. Harbaugh is, a little relaxed. Their relationship worked. In Buffalo, it sounds like it was flipped. Like, I'm just thinking, I don't know how Jesse Minter is going to be. We're not talking about that right now. But I'm just saying, if, like, McDermott was the Ravens head coach, like, that quarterback head coaching, like, that relationship, because of their personalities, skill, just their personalities, like, how different it would have been. Like, I feel like McDermott not saved, but he literally, like you said, got the most out of that roster. Josh Allen improved every single year, yes. But even though whatever they were struggling with during the season, in the postseason, they got it together.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, man. Like, that's look, this is they've made the playoffs, for 7 seasons in a row. Ever since Josh Allen was drafted in 2018. They went 6-10 his rookie year. After that, lost the wild card, lost AFC title game, lost divisional, lost divisional, lost divisional, lost AFC title game, lost divisional. Okay, you have made it to the final. This is ridiculous. You've made it to the divisional round 6 seasons in a row.
What are we doing? Well, I'm telling you, like, if that,
Like 6 seasons in a row.
that's
Because
my,
I tell
I'm upset that we're not getting over the hump. But if you can say, every other year, bro, you might be in the AFC title game, and every year you're guaranteed to win at least one playoff game or have home field advantage to be in that divisional round.
yeah,
I'm
man.
taking that.
I'm taking it. Like, and this is the thing. Like before that, right? They made that little fluke postseason appearance in 2017. Not fluke with Tyrod Taylor. By the way, with Sean McDermott as a head coach. So we have a point of reference here with Sean McDermott too that we don't have with a guy like Harbaugh, in that he took a team quarterbacked by Tyrod Taylor to the postseason. Went 9-7. So we've seen him get the most out of rosters without an MVP caliber player at quarterback as well. What makes this even more sort of dumbfounding, to sort of bring it full circle, is the fact that they let go of McDermott in just a real hyper emotional state, and then promoted the guy who's responsible for a pretty mediocre roster outside of Josh Allen. Like if you take the 16th best quarterback in the league, whoever that might be, right, and you put them in Buffalo, what is this, a 5-12 team? 4-13. Like you put, who you putting on? You putting Michael Penix Jr. on this team? You're going 5-12.
Yeah.
All due respect, right? And so now you promoted the guy who gave you a lackluster roster. You promoted from within a guy who's never been a head coach before, never been a leader of men, never at any level, right? Not even college, not even high school, if you keep it in a buck, right? Like, so he's going to be learning on the fly here, probably going to be calling plays. We'll have to see. I'm pretty sure he will, even though they just hired Peter Carmichael Jr. as their offensive coordinator. I think the one saving grace for them with me is that somehow they convinced Jim Leonard to come here and coordinate the defense, which would be a coup in other situations, right? A very respected defensive coordinator. Now you talk about maximizing defensive personnel. Jim Leonard is going to do that. The problem is Brandon Beane has left the cupboard darn near empty in terms of personnel to work with. And so the way in which they got here, right, letting McDermott go, promoting Beane, getting all hyper emotional, bringing in Jim Leonard, great coup, but like, where's the talent on the defensive side of the ball outside of Ed Oliver? Do you see it?
I don't see it. And that's the thing. When speaking of just about talent, like the names don't jump out at you. But somehow the defense always got better in the postseason. Now this year, an off year. I'm even going back to last year when I'm like, man, Baltimore is going to run all over them again, just like they did week 1, 2, whenever that was they played. And it didn't happen. But in previous years, they just always came up big in the postseason. So, like I said, listen, I'm praying for the downfall, but it just depends.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, we'll dive into this more in the off season when we do team by team previews, and obviously we'll want to see a lot, right, in terms of what they do and in free agency and how they utilize their very minimal cap space and sort of they're able to. What'd you say?
Who wants to go to Buffalo? Like,
no one.
Buffalo, the team. Buffalo, New York.
Yeah. Great team, sure. Organization wise, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to sign there. They are about $12.3 million under the cap right now. This is before the league year begins. Josh Allen's cap hit this year is about $56 million. Deion Dawkins is $24 million, and Ed Oliver is $23. And there's not a whole lot of talent on this roster. Gregory Rousseau's got an $11 million cap hit coming in this year. I guess there's a world in which I want to believe that, the addition of Jim Leonard, Joe Brady kind of calling plays can open up some things. I don't, the reason why I'm sort of hesitant to do that, and why I'm like, well, this could fall apart, is you've got the guy who I think is mostly responsible for them not being able to get over the hump, which is Brandon Beane. And y'all can go through and look at some of his recent drafts yourself. I mean, you know, Keon Coleman, uh, which I think the owner tried to claim that was one of the reasons that Sean McDermott had to go because because the coaching staff was advocating.
I'm a Florida State guy, and I didn't think he was a second round pick, honestly.
Like, what are y'all doing?
I don't know.
Right? I mean, Dalton Kincaid, you kind of landed on, right? But Kyer Elam was the 23rd overall pick in 2022. Is he in the league anymore?
I don't think so.
2020, you took James Cook. After that, Terrell Bernard, Khalil Shakir hasn't really panned out. This we talked about his draft. I won't go into that. I think he's drafted one Pro Bowler in his last 54 picks. So that's Buffalo. That's Brandon Beane. I'm going to be really interested to see where we have their win totals come in at as we get later into the summer. Switching gears here on, I think, one that we actually like, which is the complete opposite. Kind of closing the loop on our Jesse Minter hire in Baltimore, which I think for both of us, when we could have found out when it happened kind of in real time, like, okay, cool, I'm with it. And then found out the hires there as well, with Declan Doyle coming in as offensive coordinator. We try to approach at least these conversations from an objective standpoint. I think y'all can tell when we're just like rapping on the Ravens as fans and when we're actually yeah. And I think objectively, this is just a solid hire. One, it's a guy who's been in that building before, who knows just sort of the organization, knows the front office, knows how things work in Baltimore, which I think is solid. Two, who, and this is the complete opposite, I think, of, sort of what we were talking about with Harbaugh and this team previously, and that no one can say that he was getting the most out of this roster. Well, I saw what Jesse Minter did with that Chargers defense. Adafe Owe went over there and started looking like, the second coming of I ain't gonna say Lawrence Taylor, but like that man had like 6.5 sacks.
Yeah.
And what, 7 games?
I think he ended double digits last year.
Crazy, right? Like, very clear example of just what was not happening here and how you can scheme and effectively, plan your way into some pressures on a quarterback. And this Baltimore Ravens team has been absolutely pathetic at getting to the quarterback for a couple of years now. I think they were 27th in pass rush rate.
It's bad, man.
And I was shocked by that. I thought it was worse. Like, we watch them every week, see them not be able to get pressure on anybody. See just 3rd and 4 converted, 3rd and 5 converted, 3rd and 6 converted. Why? Just too much time sitting back there, like quarterback just doing a little drill. I thought they would have been like 31st, 32nd in pass rush rate. They were 27th. Great. Anyway, I think Jesse Minter is going to be able to get the most out of this defense in a way that, just wasn't happening before. This hire immediately goes through the roof for me. I really want to be able to see if Justin Madubuike is going to be able to come back and play football, because if he can get that neck to a good place with this guy calling defensive plays, that man might get $100 million at some point. So I'm excited about this, obviously as a fan, but also it's just a good fit.
Yeah. That was a big loss. I think that might have been the biggest loss last season.
Oh, for sure.
That's not a might. Like, that defense suffered. Early part of the season, there were a lot of injuries on the defense side in general, but never coming back like that impacted the Ravens defense a whole lot. We talked about this with John Harbaugh. Like, we love the fact that he does hire some brothers. But if hindsight is 2020, you hiring Zach Orr, like, basically ruined your chance of winning another.
Yeah.
You just made the wrong hire. And we know that now. And we're not just talking bad on Zach Orr.
Great brother.
The defense just was poor. 2024, it took them 10 games to kind of flip the script, and they were awesome the latter half, but reverted back to the same old defense. Couldn't stop the run, couldn't make a big play on third down. And now, you go into that second season with them, and they just could never get it right. I didn't understand from okay from the 2024 season. Once you put Cal in the box, you start making more plays. But you start the season with him not in the box.
Right.
I say higher. You sign you draft Malachi Starks. He's a free safety.
He wasn't ready
Well,
for that.
Cal, even if he, but keep Cal. All I'm saying is keep Cal free.
Yeah.
Big plays. Don't limit him to being a deep field safety. You just can't. He's too talented. So when I seen that and the shuffling, like they in the middle of the season when they played a terrible schedule, they kind of started getting it right, but you just couldn't afford it. So I'm excited to see Jesse Miller. We both talked about the offensive coordinator, but I feel like, man, Anthony Weaver coming in, I think he's still plays, but you have a true defensive coordinator who's called plays, who's both of y'all gonna be tied together, creating the game plan and things like that. But now you have a veteran voice. So you have a veteran DC, who's been in the running for a lot of head coaching jobs. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten one, but I'm surprised he didn't get one this cycle. But like, I was okay if they hired him as head coach.
Yeah.
So to get him as your DC was great. I'm excited about, Anthony Levine, true Raven, special teams coordinator.
Yeah, man.
Look at the special teams. So like, as a fan, I know the insides and outs, like what my team struggle with. And like, I know some of these other coaches, so I know how they're going to be a good fit. So it's not just me speaking as a fan. It's, hey, I know what Anthony Weaver does. I know about, Anthony Levine and some of these other guys they've brought in, and I know the personnel that the Ravens have, and I just think it's a good match. I really do.
Man, I saw that clip of Anthony Weaver during it was a mid
About, I know, bro.
it was a it was a midweek.
I want a violent defense, and that's what you talking.
Bruh,
Bro, I was ready to play.
it was a midweek press conference, and this man gets up there with the calm of a president before the one we currently have, bald head, shining, shirt fitting perfectly. And I don't care what y'all say about me. All that matters when you are leading men.
real.
All right. And so he exhibited in that clip the ability to be a loving, caring father, husband, and in the same way, we got expectations of how we go out here.
Yes.
And this man said, at the end of the day, all of our problems on defense can be solved with violence. I said, that's my defensive coordinator.
Bro,
that's my defense.
That's what made me want him to be, the head coach. We got him as a DC. So
Man.
I have extremely high expectations for the defense.
Yes.
8 is going to be 8. They're going to be able to run the ball. It is just what they do. We just have the OC just can't nut up and stop calling run plays when you need to keep running the ball. But if this defense, like 2023, I'm sorry, had a number one defense, number one offense. Different coaching staff. You don't need to be number one.
Yeah.
But they literally have the potential to be top 5 in both. And I feel like with this coaching staff, if you're top 5 in both, you're not, the expectation is for you not to regress once you get to the postseason like they've been doing.
100%.
So if that happens and they're playing well throughout the season, I trust this defensive coordinator, this defensive staff to not, regress once January starts.
Yeah.
I didn't trust Zach Orr. I just didn't. McDonald, like, he didn't do a bad job. The offense just, they just forgot how to run the ball. So But yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. I'm sitting here still haunted by that number one offense and defense and DVOA and not getting to the Super Bowl.
not even getting
But
there.
anyway, we finally got some. Look, I'm not even gonna disrespect Harbaugh by saying that, but it's clear there's a certain level of discipline, of hierarchy, and of expectation that this team just seemed to have lost. That is just not indicative of
It's
who
not.
the Ravens are as an organization. Right?
And it's
Like,
the I didn't mean to cut you off, but like when I'm testing my friends, the past 2 years, they were like asking me, should Harbaugh be fired? That's the main reason I said yes. So
mhm,
you talk about a culture that an organization has. Discipline, discipline, tough defense, run the ball. Even if you have eight, like that's like the makeup of the organization. So when you
mhm,
get to the postseason in back to back to back years, and all three of those things, like they're not happening, there has to be a change.
mhm.
That's two.
It has to. And the reason why, like, that's one of the things. The reason why this is such a great organization, and why straying from that was one of the most fireable offenses, is because this is a place, a team, a city, to where you have to play like that. Like
Yes,
you have to have a lunch pail. You got to have a hard work mentality. You got to say we're going up here to strap up and be violent. Because one, you can't put butts in the seats and pay PSLs without that, because that is what people here expect, and that is very real for folks who just aren't really familiar with sort of Baltimore Ravens fandom. Like, I don't want a team that wins games 41-35. I'm not paying for that. I don't want that. I don't want to see that. That's not who we are. That might be what they do in Atlanta. That might be what you want with the Rams or like whatever. There's cities and organizations who that's fine for. That's not Baltimore. That's not what we want. It's not what we're looking for in a team. And second, you got to go beat Pittsburgh and Cleveland and Cincinnati and New England
it gets
and
cold.
Kansas City and Buffalo outside.
Yeah.
Like, so you need to have a defense that can shut people down,
Mhm.
because you're not playing on carpet like that, and you're not going to play on carpet to get to the Super Bowl. Like, all of these AFC favorites are still, for now. I mean, Kansas City's building a dome. I think Denver's building a dome, whatever.
Buffalo,
But
Buffalo's building a new stadium.
Buffalo's outside.
Okay.
Buffalo's outside. So like indefinitely in the AFC, at least through the end of the decade, like every team you're gonna have to beat, even if you got a game at home, if you're Baltimore, it's still gonna be outside. It's gonna be in the elements. You gotta have teams that fear going down the middle in January, that don't want to feel that cold when they get hit. And so that'd be a good thing. I think also in that point, I saw a note that Declan Doyle put out there, um, basically in his expectations for players to be at
OTA.
OTAs.
Yep, I saw that.
And one, I love it, right? And two, I know there have been times where Lamar hasn't shown up to those voluntary workouts and things of that nature. One, I like to think that he knows the importance of showing up for those in the midst of a coaching change,
Mm.
in the midst of a transition. And two, I love him putting guys on notice. Like, look, man, these we got they are very Jesse Minter, Anthony Weaver, Declan Doyle. This entire coaching staff is well aware.
Of
We are here because the other guy did not win a Super Bowl.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing. So that's why we talked about Joe Brady for this. You're just like, oh, we didn't get to the Super Bowl. Let me promote within. Like, it's not the same expectation.
Yeah.
Like, it's different. It's, you know, they haven't gotten there either. They were closer than Baltimore. I'm just gonna hire within because we're so close. Baltimore said, "Nah, we gotta change this whole
The
thing.
whole thing need a
Whole
reset.
thing. Like, get somebody who's familiar for sure. A few people who are familiar with our culture, but we need a new leader. And I think it's gonna I think it's gonna work well. I'm interested to see, like you said, the offseason. Like, I expect Lamar to be there just because it's a coaching change, man. And it's gonna set the tone. Like, all right, I have all my guys here learning this new offense, learning this new defense. I'm excited for Kyle Hamilton. He's been an all pro in all his
Yeah,
seasons, but his
man.
first one. See how he used Derwin James. Derwin, like, those are my two favorite safeties.
Yeah,
So,
man.
like, I'm expecting Malachi to take a leap.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, you gotta host linebacker Buchanan. I think he missed sometime at the end of the season. Hopefully Green becomes a better pass rusher. Like I'm expecting leaps from these younger players, and the vets are coming back. Calvin Noah,
Yeah.
wants to step, but that's a veteran presence in there. You got to keep him around. Like I have high expectations. Even though a first year coaching staff, I have high expectations because you're not losing a lot as far as personnel.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it might actually be like John Gruden coming in Tampa Bay, but
Let's
that might be my
we say
fandom.
that for the whole season.
We got a lot of time to talk about that. Biggest thing for them, not biggest things, but one of the biggest things, at least from a personnel standpoint. Again, we'll talk about more of this when we get into free agency. Is it looks like Tyler Linderbaum wants market setting money, and like, is Linderbaum a good center? Absolutely. Is he one of the top 5 centers in the game? Absolutely. Is this he deserve $20 million a year at center?
I'm not giving that to a center when I can get somebody who's solid and get rid of that left guard. I can pay two. I can give me a starting caliber left guard and a center for 20. I'm good. I like Lindenbaugh, but like you said, it's like 20
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of people out.
where they don't pay state tax.
Yeah, Miami are probably getting they got a lot of money. Tennessee, there's somebody. I mean, but I agree with on that point. Right? I love Tyler Linderbaum. Great player, came from Iowa. Definitely embodies sort of Ravens culture. But like you said, when you've got like Falele can't be your starting guard again. He can't be. He cannot be.
I don't want him on the
He
roster.
cannot be.
I don't want he's directly responsible for Lamar's quarterback rating.
Do you see? So there are so many highlights where people are like, "Oh, look at what Lamar did on that play." I'm like, he's only doing that because Falele got worked.
Worked. I need them to pay Isaiah Likely. That's another story.
Hey man, we gotta talk. We gotta have an EDC episode this offseason too. All right. Look, you can't hit every year, Eric. I get it, brother. But you need to hit some picks this year.
Absolutely.
All right, because that last draft that your predecessor had, Ozzie Newsom's last draft, smoking. Smoking. We ain't gonna do that right now because I would go through the list, but then that's gonna be another 20 minutes. That's how excited I get about that draft class. EDC, we need you, brother. So yeah, anyway, you can't do that when you gotta get a new guard because Falele can't be back. And you need insurance at the tackle spot on both sides because you don't know if you can trust Ronnie Stanley. So $20 million in just the center, I don't know how much sense that makes.
Stanley's making 20.
Who making 20?
Stanley's making 20. So
he is.
You got Stanley making 20, and you can't trust his injury history. You're gonna pay 20 to a center. You pay Mark Andrews, I don't know, 15. It's like
10.5.
So
Stanley at 20, Kyle's at 20. Nnamdi, my bad, Justin Matabike. Nnamdi Matabike is at 22. Yeah, I mean, you can't. Lamar's deal has to be restructured anyway. They got $22 million in cap space, but they do have a lot to do.
They just restructured Mahomes deal.
Yeah, so they get in there. There are some personnel holes to fill on this team, but yeah, come on, Eric. You need a good offseason. You need a good offseason. Speaking of the draft and good offseason and needing to hit on picks, we're gonna go ahead and dive into and start our draft talk season here. Before we do that, though, make sure that if you are a fan of the show, and if you are a fan, look, if you listen to this, you don't listen this far, that means you're a fan of the show. You're in the top 1% of listeners. You love you some football. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Holla at us. We appreciate it. Yeah. Every few years around draft season, I always have like 2 or 3 guys that I'm just like, yeah, that's my dude. I think he's going to be the second coming of, like, I get hyperbolic, right? Like, if it's a wideout, he's the next Julio Jones. If it's a pass rusher, he's the next Lawrence Taylor. If it's, I'm just that kind of guy. And so this year though, man, I've struggled to find
The comparison, or
the comparisons. I've struggled to find guys who I'm like, rather, who I'm like, yeah, man, he is going to be a great pro at the next level, and people are sleeping on him. Now, maybe that's because, like, I do this thing. I actively try to watch college football. We watch a lot of college football. I actively try to watch college football just from the standpoint of what this player is doing right now. Like, I hate
yeah,
the way that so much of our conversation around college football and basketball has become, oh, he's a projected day one pick, or oh, he's the
yeah,
project. Like,
I don't like that either.
that's not why I'm watching this, right? And so I think I might still be in a position like, all right, let me see who I like. Because you know what? Where I landed, my two guys, because I'm pretty sure your two are different. My two guys come from the team that I said was going to win the national championship since October. And I really like Carter Smith. I would love to see him in a Baltimore uniform, Indiana tackle. Put him at right tackle, get rid of Lele. You can put, I don't know, anybody there.
Me.
You can put, hey man, hey man.
My
I
God.
love Smith. I like my offensive lineman, big, broad, and from Big Ten country.
Yeah.
And then I like D'Angelo Pons, man.
I love D'Angelo Pons, bro. Like,
Like a little undersized, but
care. He we speaking about just, sleeper player, not even sleeper players, but like players we fall in love with. I fell in love with D'Angelo Pons, bro. Like just watching him all season. Something about I play corner. Technically, I'm undersized, and I'm 5'11". So, but D'Angelo Pons, what, 5'9", maybe 5'8", 5'9"?
yeah, 5'9".
He's
Yeah,
probably gonna be 5'9.5" or something. You is a baller, technician, sticky coverage. He's a baller. I can see him in the slot playing a lot of years. I see him. I see Kenny Moore. Yeah, Kenny
mm,
Moore out in Indianapolis. Good in space, tough, physical. Kenny Moore, household names from Vada. Hey, he went to Valdosta State.
hey,
So, but yeah, I see just he's not afraid to just mix it up. Like, yeah, like that's and you and I are like we like football players. And it's a
yeah,
difference.
man,
Like
it is.
people who play football, and there's a guy that's a football player. My three, I didn't pick Pons, but he's like one of my favorite players. My three, they're football players. But yeah, I would love to see Pons in both of your picks in the Baltimore Ravens uniform.
Yeah, man. Pons 5'9", 173. We talked about this. Just a hell of a football player, man. My bad.
If he goes sub 4.5s, like top 40,
Oh, 100%.
top 40, like
100%. I mean, I think it's a day two pick now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he goes sub 4.
Yeah.
If he runs really well,
Might go in the
4.0,
first round.
4.40, you know, he might be first round, bro. Because the
Might go
skill
in the
is
first round. Skill is there, man. I love Pons. I love Carter Smith. I'm like, if you give me a boring, look, man, if you give me a boring offensive tackle pick and a DB who could play nickel, and I think like that's a much more important position than it was maybe in years past. People don't understand. Like that's where I think you lose a lot of your third and intermediates when you don't have a guy like that who's scrappy, who can get up on the line and get past breakups on third and intermediate. Yes, I would take that because it gets you off the field, and that's the name of the game.
Yep.
Who your other guys?
Bro, I want you to guess. Football player. This has been one of my favorite players since watching him in high school.
Did he go to high school in Georgia?
Yep. You
Zachariah
should
Branch.
know. You should know this, bro. You come on, man. Who's the GOAT? He played for the GOAT.
Caden Proctor?
Caleb Downs.
Ah,
Caleb Downs.
yes.
Bro, I
Gary
watched
Berry, man.
I'm saying kid because I literally watched him like as a sophomore and just
Yeah.
watched him do all of that. Georgia fans thought he was going to Georgia. I'm like, nah, he's out of Alabama, Ohio State. And then he having a chance to play for the GOAT, he gonna be playing for the GOAT. The GOAT retired. He went to Ohio State.
Nah, I'm out. Let me get this bag.
But bro, like just watching him, he's the definition of a football player. If
Yeah.
if I want a safety, I want my safety to play like that.
Yeah.
He can do a little bit of everything. Obviously, can't go outside and play corner, but he can cover your slot guy if you need him to. He can cover a tight end. You know, he's very good at run support. Like he can do what Derwin James and Kyle Hamilton, like he can do those things. I saw something on Twitter and it said they compared him to Eric Weddle. And I'm like, but hear me out though. Eric
It's
Weddle,
not far though.
like a 5-time All-Pro, bro.
Oh, big yeah.
Like, just talking about like how he played the game, he does remind me of Eric Weddle. And if he, it's hard to judge safeties like Hall of Fame and all of that, but if you're telling me you want to draft Caleb Downs, a top 5 pick, and he becomes a 5-time All-Pro, that's worth it.
Oh yeah, man.
I hate how we devalue safeties. Like, oh, he's a safety. He can't be a top 5, top 10 pick. No, bro. That's like there's an argument to say he's the best player in college football. And if he's the best player in college football, I don't care what position, he's a top 5 pick. So Caleb Downs definitely one of my favorite players. I think probably is my favorite player in college football from this past year. Another guy. Listen, this is exactly how I want my defensive lineman to look. No
I
wrist,
know you about to say
no gloves, ankle socks, ashy.
football player
David Bailey,
David Bailey.
bro.
He was on my list too, man.
I've been watching Ruben Bain since high school because Florida State connection. He almost signed there, but hell of a player too. Watching David Bailey this year, personal opinion, I'm taking David Bailey over Ruben Bain. You go either way, and you go the other way, I'm not mad at you. But man, just go to the Oregon game. Dude, they couldn't stop him.
He was wrecking them,
Like,
man.
with everything, pass rush, with speed, bull rush, stopping the run, pass deflections. Football player does not care about anything. It's just like the old school linebacker. You got a neck collar, I want you on my team.
Hey,
If you're a defensive lineman, you're not winning any gear, I want you on my team.
I want you on my
The
team.
football player. Last
man.
one, going back to Ohio State, is Arvell Reese. Linebacker. I just like the way that guy plays football.
Yeah,
He's to run well. Like, he sees the gap, he flies through the gap. Like, see space, go get the ball.
Yeah.
Having him, Caleb Downs on the same defense is kind of unfair because both of those guys are in the ball. Those are my 3. Like, I could name some more. Like, I could have said Pons, but those 3, like, to me, if you're talking about, like, it's hard to say can't miss because you just never know. But like, those 3 are my can't miss, and like just my favorite football players overall in the draft.
Yeah. No, that's fair, man. Arvell Reese probably gonna be the second pick overall. If the Jets are smart, because there ain't no quarterback in this class worth taking now. After Mendoza, who's gonna go number 1, and you already know my affinity for Fernando. They solid there. I knew he was going there with David Bailey. I was like, he was the
bro.
Oh yeah, you don't think to watch there in that Orange Bowl.
I mean, I couldn't believe, like, I was mad because I hadn't watched more Texas Tech football.
Yeah, man.
Just to see,
like, dang, I'm just not discovering this guy. This guy is a beast.
I was raw. I was just
it's all good.
Good defense.
They done reloaded in the trenches down there at Texas Tech. I think it'd be interesting to see where they go this offseason as well. So I had David Bailey on my list too, and obviously D'Angelo Pons and Carter Smith. I think we're gonna get a chance to dive into a lot of this draft stuff here over the next couple months. So that'd be fun. Because I ain't gonna lie, I actually haven't paid much attention to the draft the last
I haven't either, bro.
few years.
I haven't.
And so
that I don't know. Like, once it gets like into it, like maybe March next month, I kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
Let me get a little smaller scope. Let me see what my team needs, and then I get more interested in it. So it'd be good to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah, I mean, we're never gonna be guys who are like watching tape in August. Like there's a contingent of people out there who are like, "Oh, I watched the film. Everybody wants my job. I get to watch and make draft projections all year, bro. Nobody wants your job." I can think of nothing worse than on a Tuesday in September, you watching film on the 3 technique at Colorado State. No, I do not want to do that with my life. So you got that, bro. However, once the football season is actually over because there's no football to watch, well, then I take great delight in watching some film on different prospects because it's my football fix. And so that's just what we're going to be, a little bit more of a draft concept in March, April. I'm just not going to be doing mock drafts ever in October because like I like football. I don't want to talk about the draft when football is on.
And then we haven't seen enough football in it.
Exactly. You don't know.
AK like Dante Moore. Like now we know he definitely should have went back to school.
That's a great point. See, this is why all that draft talk is ridiculous too, because Arch Manning and Lenore Sellers and Garrett Nussmeier, this was supposed to be a wonderful year for quarterbacks. Just what, 5.5 months ago?
Yep.
And we are now. And who had Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall in September? So we just don't know. Enjoy the football. Just watch the football. And then when football's gone, but then we can talk about the draft, which is what we're going to do.
Hey, so I have some people, aka Jets fans, they're talking about who they won in the draft in late October.
They're already talking about quarterbacks in 2027 draft, bro.
That's miserable. No parts. I love the fact that my team will always pick in the 20-somethings. Hopefully it's 32.
Yeah.
But
like this 14 stuff this year, I don't want this. I don't like this.
Yeah, like, come on. I hate it. Now, it'll bounce back because 14, you get a solid guy at 14. Somebody is going to fall because of something stupid. And the Ravens always pick it up.
Caleb Downs.
Yep. Dang. Don't get my hopes up. There's no way. There's no way he's falling.
Not just say Caleb Downs, David Bailey.
Please, forgive me, Ruben Bain, for putting this in the atmosphere, but pull a what's the old tackle from Ole Miss a couple years ago? Pull one. Just fall to 14, please.
Larry Tunsil.
Yeah. Pull a Larry Tunsil and just fall to 14. Like but somebody like that just fall to 14 and
It's gonna happen. Hey, as we close out the show, man, I just want to say we talked a lot about the draft and the Ravens and all this other stuff and the Buffalo Bills. Shout out to you, Tyler Lou, wherever you are, because you missing that kick, I think, has single-handedly changed the trajectory of our favorite football franchise.
Right.
Right. And I think we might be sitting there a year or two from now with a crispy Lombardi, all because you shanked that field goal. And so you keep your head up, son. And you stay in that gym this offseason, all right? Because you saved this franchise.
You saved it, brother. You saved it. We appreciate you. You better
appreciate you.
Better be 88% and up from field goals next year. But
yeah. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, 88.
Don't get it twisted. Hey, we'll be back next week, y'all. A new show. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff here at the All 22. Off season just getting underway.